Hello, hello, friends. Welcome back to the Dynamo. So, I finally got Ireland Reimagined into a beta state where I'm comfortable releasing it. I'm at version 1.4.1. Lots of little tweaks working away on it. I think I'm up to, let me open up the editor here. I'm on 29,232 database changes. So, without any further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so this is basically going to take the form of a bit of a PowerPoint presentation, bit of an in-game examination. The in-game examination will look like this, and then the PowerPoint will look like this, just to help me kind of organize and structure everything. So basically, what is Ireland Reimagined? Ireland Reimagined is taking Football Manager, taking the Republic of Ireland, and completely from top to bottom, redesigning the entire league. I've done away with the traditional clubs. There's no Shamrock Rovers, no Dundalk. What I've done is I've taken the 32 county divisions on the island, and I've recreated what is the Gaelic Athletic Association sporting division on the island. So you essentially have 32 teams, 32 senior teams that field intermediary and junior teams as well. So you have what is effectively a reserve and under 21s to help kind of like feed teams up through those divisions, as well as giving match opportunities for training. So what does this calendar look like? The season basically looks as such. It is broken up into three competitive sessions. You have the Allainz National Football League, you have the Provincial Senior Championships, and then you have the crowning jewel of the Irish season, the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. From August to November, you basically have the Alliance League, breaks into that Provincial Championships, where you have teams only playing within their provincial provinces. February is reserved for a knockout competition in those provincial systems. And then March and April is a group stage of all 32 teams, 4 groups of 8, before playing in a knockout competition in May to basically crown who are the All-Ireland champions. Okay, so the Alliance National League, I have it broken up into 4 divisions. 8 teams in each division. You get a rough look at what we're looking at here. I've done histories for the teams. I've done promotion and relegation back as far as I have the histories for the teams from like 1880, and then I've done promotion and relegation from the 2003 season. So when you go into the histories, you'll actually see something in there. This is Division 1, Division 2, Division 3, Division 4. So let me show you what this looks like in game itself. So let's go Division 1. Okay, so you have Armagh, Donegal, Dublin, Kerry, Kildare, Mayo, Monaghan. Let's go into our profile. You can see it all setting up. It's ranked 66, just under the Icelandic Premier League. Is that their Premier League? It's probably not. But anyway, there's lots of room for improvement here. I've got my past winners. It's going all the way back to 1925, the inception of the league itself. And you can even see here, like New York. New York won it back in 1950, but I haven't given them, I haven't coded them into the game. They don't compete in the league, or at least they kind of do. They compete in the Connacht League in real life, but I wanted to keep it to 32 teams because it's a beautiful number to play with and to work with, so I can do a lot of work with that. Now, you actually might have noticed as well that I have logo packs developed for my own personal playthroughs. I've got the Alliance League up here as well as each individual teams. I will be making that available if any of you want it, but it'll play fine without it. So if we go into season preview, I have each team has a roster of about 35-40 players, so there will be something to work with, because one thing that I've always noticed, sometimes when you get a custom database, when you go into the teams, they're totally barren. Absolutely barren, and that means that you have an entire league, like every team in that league all competing in one window, and I find the AI just can't handle that. So what I've done is I've gone into each team. They all have at least one starting 11, and a lot of them will have kind of like a reserves team as well, like an 11, but I've tried to somewhat represent an unbalanced player style so that you'll be able to sell and buy it as well, kind of to how your heart's content, while also not optimizing those teams, because then it just becomes too formulaic. I want you to be able to step into these teams and actually have to overhaul them. So we have the Allianz League Division 1. We go into rules. Actually, before I do, one thing you might notice. It's 8 teams. One team goes up, one team goes down. That's the way it is across all the divisions. The reason I've done this is because in the Allianz League 1, if you go to Europe and you go to, where is it? Qualification places. 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 is the max places that you can be awarded. I think you can get 8 if everything absolutely goes your way if you win all the European competitions. 7 is the max that you can get through league qualifications. So 7 teams are always available in the Allianz League to be promoted into those European playoff places. So if you get this league to being the most reputable league in Europe, it basically becomes a case of if you get relegated, you lose out on Europe. It's just that simple, which means that like the Allianz League ends up being a really, really, really interesting but short kind of like bright burning league at the beginning before you before all the teams kind of like break into their provincial competitions to win a chance at a provincial trophy before coming back for what is essentially that FA Cup that is the All-Ireland Senior Championship. Now, how does the league itself work? If you go into rules, this is where it gets interesting. Points for a win, 2. Points for a draw, 1. The reason I've done this, 1, that's just the way that the actual Allianz League works in real life. It's 2 points for a win, 1 win for a draw. And the reason I wanted to bring this over is because it's a 14-game league. So goal difference becomes incredibly important because there's so few matches being played, so you don't get the chance to absolutely outscore each other. And having it being 2 points for a win and 1 for a draw, I feel adds this element of competition to that 14-game season, meaning that you're always kind of in it there or thereabouts. Like a lot of the simulations I've done, there's often like 6 points between second place and relegation. So they're like fiercely competitive leagues, as well as the sorting table, results between teams, goal difference, goals scored, goals against, home goal difference, away goal difference. And again, bottom team gets relegated. Now, the prize money, it's about where you'd get with the Airtricity League, but there's a bit more money. I think the Airtricity League is about €350,000, whereas I've gone just under $500,000. That will scale up and about, but not a huge amount. The reputation of the league itself, I think, is 80 something, I think, but I don't want to go into the editor because everything will just freeze up on me and then I won't be able to actually do anything with it. Automatically under 19 players are automatically eligible. One thing that I've also done is because I want a domestic bias, where is this here? Yeah, minimum of 4 players trained by the club for 3 years. Maximum of 5 loan players in the squad, a maximum squad of 25 players, and a minimum of 8 players trained in the nation. So I want to create a domestic player bias while also priming you for those European spots, so you don't end up getting caught out by having kind of like a domestic league and then a domestic squad and international squad. I've taken away the rules in Ireland where Wales, Scotland and English players are considered homegrown. I've done away with that to promote Northern Irish and Republic of Irish players having that domestic bias and to make them more valuable to be traded internally within the league itself. Before we go on to the provincial championships, let me give you a rough... We'll go into Kerry here. And Kerry has it set up here. So they have 2 goalkeepers on squad. They've other players here. And if you go into like reserve squad, filled out a reserve squad, and they have a few people in that youth squad. If you go into like all players, you can see that... What is it? What is that? There you go. It's 42 players that you can play around with. So clubs list. Here are all of the clubs, and they range from 1-star local up to 3-star national. Kerry and Dublin being the 2 most dominant teams in Gaelic football, naturally are the 2 most dominant teams in this game. But at the same time, you have that, there's a bit of a free-for-all element because of that domestic provincial championship and it being such a short league season that you end up like a strong start is essential for European qualifications. And if European qualifications go belly up. Or if you're in divisions 2, 3 or 4, you put a lot of effort towards using your provincial championship to get a winning tactic in place, to then put all of your eggs into that All-Ireland championship and get out of your group. So let me get back to here. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I've already showed you the National League. Provincial championships. Ireland historically is broken up into 4 provinces: Munster in the south, Leinster in the east, Connacht in the west, and Ulster in the north. What I've done is I've basically just pretended that the partition does not affect football on the Republic of Ireland. I have allowed the Northern Ireland FA to completely and utterly exist independent of this. Tyrone, Derry, Antrim, Down, Armagh, Monaghan and Fermanagh. Sorry, not Monaghan. Monaghan's in the Republic. Fermanagh, Tyrone, Derry, Antrim, Armagh and Down. They will all provide teams to their own domestic league, but they also field teams in this league as well. So it doesn't do anything to the North of Ireland. You could still load North of Ireland and the Dangus Bank Premier League will work absolutely fine. Glentoran, Linfields, they all still exist in this world. They're not affected by this. So how does this work? Basically, let's start off with the Munster Championship. The Munster Championship is these 6 counties down here, and they will compete in their own competition that is a part of a larger umbrella competition called the Provincial Senior Championship. They don't play against each other. It's not an inter-provincial. It's an intra-provincial. There we go, that's the word. It's not an inter-provincial, it's an intra-provincial. So you have the Munster, you have the Leinster, and I'll be going into more detail about this later. Leinster, because it is 12 counties, what I've done is I've broken this up into a north and a south. So you have these 6 teams will play each other home and away. These 6 teams will play each other home and away. And you have that geographic border. So every single season, you already know who you're playing. And then it gets more interesting in a second, but we'll get to that. Ulster, that is that north. Now, Ulster has 9 counties, and rather than breaking them into groups, what I've decided, they just have one table. They all play each other once. It's the best thing I could do. So everyone gets 4 home games, 4 away games, and it's kind of a lottery for who gets what. And then going to the Connacht Senior Championship, you have Galway, Leitrim, Mayo, Roscommon, Sligo. The smallest of the provinces, Mayo, are absolutely dominant in this. So if you want a good challenge, pick say like Roscommon in fucking Allainz Division 1. Pick like Sligo or Leitrim, I think, and try to dethrone Mayo and win as many Connacht Senior Championships as them. So let's go into the game proper. Oops, wrong one. Let's go into the game proper and I'll show you. We'll start off with the Munster Senior Football Championship. So like I said, you have Clare, Cork, Kerry, Tipperary, Waterford, past winners. I have all of these sorted out. As you can see, Kerry are absolutely dominant in this. Going to records, they have won it 81 times. So, hey, do you want to dethrone Kerry? Let's go into Kerry themselves, just so I can kind of get a few things going together. Kerry competes in that Munster Senior Championship, and if you go into their overall history, they have 37 All-Ireland Senior Football Championships, 23 Allainz Division 1s, 81 Munster Seniors, and 1 Allainz Division 2. And I've done I think it only shows like 20 years worth of this. If you go into their competitions, I have this filled out. I have everything thought of. I've done it all for you folks. Let me just double check. Yes, I just wanted to make sure that I had the right window open there. So let's go back to the Munster Senior Championship. The way the championship works is you play a round robin. Everyone plays home and away. And then, this is where it gets interesting, it breaks into a knockout competition where the position in the league is really for prize money, but also determines seedings. 3rd, 4th and 5th and 6th place go into a quarter-final. The winners of those quarter-finals plays 1st and 2nd place. So you end up with a situation where if you finish in the top 2, you essentially get a bye to that semi-final, semi-final, final. And that then a final just becomes the Munster Senior Football Championship. Interesting system as well. I've devised this in the editor so that those quarterfinals, semi-finals, and final are played at neutral venues in Munster. So it'll draw from stadiums in Munster. I love that feature. I love the editor. We'll get to stay. Actually, no. You know what I'll do? I'll introduce the stadiums right now. Munster is home to 3 of the largest stadiums in Europe. You have Semple Stadium, Páirc Uí Chaoimh, and the Gaelic Grounds. Stadiums. Semple Stadium is 54,690. You can Google this if you want. Páirc Uí Chaoimh, 45,000. Gaelic Grounds, 44,023. Fitzgerald Stadium, 38,000. So you don't have to worry about the stadium sizes for this database. This was one of the reasons why I was very interested in recreating this model, because the stadium facilities in Ireland for GAA is actually like really, really good. Semple Stadium in Tipperary routinely holds Munster Senior Championships. Semple Stadium is about, I forgot, you're looking at the wrong one. It's in northern Tipperary. It's relatively central to the overall country itself, and being a large capacity means that when you get to the All-Ireland the quarterfinal, semi-final, and final are again all played at neutral venues. So that's the Munster Senior Championship. Let's go to the Connacht Senior Championship. Again, home and away. That breaks into the bottom 2 going to a quarterfinal, top 3 semi-final. So essentially that's a relegation playoff, or it's an elimination playoff, that quarterfinal, and then you go into your quarterfinal, semi-final, final. And they're all played 7 days apart. I tried to schedule them for the Sundays in February. Let's go to the Leinster Senior Football Championship again. So North plays each other, South plays each other, and then how that works out is if you finish 3rd, 4th, 5th, or 6th in your group, you go into the first round. First and second get a bye to that quarterfinal. So again, like finishing high up in that table is really, really effective way of getting a head start into getting silverware. So like if you do well, you generate that momentum, and then that momentum is rewarded. And then we go into the Leinster Senior Championship, the Ulster Senior Championship. 8 games, everyone plays each other once. Oh yeah, all the senior championships, the provincial championships, 2-point throw in, 1 win for a draw. So bottom 2 for the first round basically is an elimination playoff to find out who fills the rest of the quarterfinals. And then that plays off into first round, quarterfinal, semi-final, final. Now the schedule is just, it's too packed to be able to then do an All-Ireland provincial final where it would just be like the winners of those provincial finals. So if that then breaks into the All-Ireland Championship proper. Now, let me show you again what the season looks like over here. There we go. You have December, January. We're over here in February. We've just played this. So now going to March, April for the All-Ireland Senior Football Championship group stages. What does that group stage look like? Nope. Let's go over here and we'll just go we'll go schedule. Now you'll notice February is open for those knockout championships, but then you go into the All-Ireland group stage, all groups. 8 teams in each group, 4 groups. It is 1 fixture, 4 home games. Sorry, it's 4 or 3 home games, 4 or 3 away games. I've tried to set this to be neutral venues, but it ends up just having everything at the one stadium, and it drives me nuts. And I figured, heck, it'd be fun to have home and away. Because like we'll go to Donegal here. Donegal is 1, 2, 3. They have 4 home games and they have 3 away games. So an away game against Carlow, Clare and Down. Waterford home at Macamile. 18,000 seater stadium. I'm going to get distracted by my own database. Let's go back here. All-Ireland Senior Football Championship. Play each other once. And then top 2 for the quarterfinal. But here's where things get interesting. Again, let me just double check. Yeah. Points for a win, 3. Points for a win by penalties, 2. Points for a defeat by penalties, 1. There are no draws. This is a group stage where each game essentially is a knockout round. If you win the game in regular time, you get 3 points. You get a massive advantage. If you're drawing or if you're losing by a goal, you have a reason to chase that equalizer, because then no matter what happens, you're getting a point. If you draw, you're getting a point no matter what happens, but then you have a chance for that 2 points. And those 2 points might be the difference between a second and a third place. And the difference in second and third place might be the difference between you saving your season with a late run into Europe. Those penalties are beautiful. So you get 7 fixtures at the end of that league. And what I'm hoping this reproduces is drama. I'm hoping this gives you a sentiment of kind of like fighting and clawing back from a losing position. Imagine being 2-0 down and scoring an equaliser in the last minute and then taking it to penalties and winning the penalty shootout. You've dropped a point. But even there, how often do you drop a point? You've gotten 2 points out of that. And then that breaks into the quarterfinal, semi-final, final. The crowning moment of the Irish domestic season, 15th of May, and that gives you a place in the Europa Conference League, and of course that rises depending on your reputation. So, as it starts off when you load in, there are 3 vacancies: Galway, Kildare, Meath. I might make more, I might make less, but we'll decide what happens. One thing I've decided to do is, when you go in, there are reserve and youth squads. Now, this is where it gets fun, because I have organised an intermediary division as well as an All-Ireland intermediaries. Now, I haven't done intermediary provincial competitions because it's just way too fucking much. It's just way too much work. So the way the intermediary divisions work is it's 2 leagues of 16 teams broken up into north-south divisions. So top of North and South play off in basically what is the Intermediary Division 1 final. But here's the interesting thing. You play home and away in North, and you play every team from the South once, and you end up in a 22-game league season. Bottom teams relegated. So it kind of simulates the regular Allainz Senior League while still kind of like fleshing out those lost fixtures to the provincial championships. This goes on to Division 2. Again, top teams are promoted north and south to kind of cut down on travel costs. How I did this will be an editor video, because I love breaking teams. I love breaking leagues into groups and then assigning those groups custom fixture patterns. It's a lot of fun, and you can get really, really good customized leagues. They also have their own All-Ireland, which follows the same systems as you'd expect in the other one. I don't seem to have set this one up correctly, because you can get draws. That is incorrect. So that's one thing they'll have to fix before this goes live. Allainz Division, Junior Division 1. And again, it's just to give teams fighting chances at developing match ratings in their youth as well as in their intermediate divisions. So Division 1, yeah, I need to fix that. So that is the Irish. That is the Ireland reimagined. Let's whoops. There we go, yeah. That is Ireland reimagined. That is my database. By the time this goes live, I should have links in the description down below for you to figure out where to download this. Remember, it's in beta, so let me know if there are any problems so that I can fix them, get on top of them. And the overall plan is that this is going to stay in beta until Football Manager 2023, and then I'm going to port it over to that new database, and that'll be the official release for that game cycle. My friends, thank you very much.